The Gorecast is brought to you by American Horrors, the greatest uncut horror channel in the world. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, all horror. As well as the station of decapitation without your head.
America's longest running horror channel, www.withoutyourhead.com.
The following program is rated TV MAL. It contains strong language and is intended only for mature audiences. Viewer discretion advised.
Hello and welcome to the Gorecast, where Johnny's mistimings led to that hysterical...
You beautiful sons of bitches. What's going on? Sorry.
That was hilarious.
Thanks. I'm sleep deprived and I can't count, evidently. Things you learn on a Sunday talking about horror.
So this week we decided to delve into Hellboy because it's been announced recently enough that there's finally going to be a third Hellboy movie, although this time it's going to be kind of a reboot rather than continuing Del Toro's vision of what...
It's getting what I like to call the Hulk treatment.
Where they got in a completely different actor to take over the role and
just pretended the other movie didn't happen.
No, they didn't, because that was part of the first Hulk movie is part of the continuity. So, it's not the same. Anyway, for those of you that don't know, Hellboy is basically this cool demon...
Sorry, before we get into Hellboy, let's call a spade, right? They had Banner.
Yeah.
It didn't go well.
Yeah.
And then they just kind of went...
Oh!
Edward Norton!
Sorry, I thought you were going from Edward Norton to Avengers.
So Edward Norton's movie I thought it was pretty well.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So anyway,
Angrier the Hulk, bigger the Hulk. Total sense.
Yeah, that's how it works.
I know, yeah.
Anyway, back to Hellboy. Hellboy really came to fruition in the mid-90s. The brainchild of Mike Mignola. It was actually weird that it kind of started off, he drew a sketch at a Comic-Con and this like demon figure with Hellboy written on it, and then kind of thought nothing of it. And then had a bunch of stories and went, you know what, he'd probably fit in if we did stuff here. So after kind of trying to ship it out to places like DC, he decided to go with an owner-based character, and he was able to get started with Dark Horse. And to be honest, he really took the world by storm by creating this character that was funny, down-to-earth, demonic, and...
Fantastic hair.
Ha.
Yeah.
A real kind of working stiff who happens to be the world's foremost occult investigator.
Yeah.
And the main member of the BPRD, the Bureau for Paranormal Research and Defense, which has been fighting... Burped? BPRD burped. Anyway, which has been fighting the forces of darkness since 1948, actually, according to the comics. Hellboy himself was brought to this plane, Earth, in 1944 after a kind of like a ritual performed by
wasn't it? His planet exploded and his mum and dad put him in his rocket ship and sent him down to Earth. That was it, wasn't it?
No, that's Superman.
Oh yeah, shit. Okay.
That's Superman.
Sorry, this happens when I'm sleep deprived. I get giddy.
Completely different ender of worlds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hellboy is brought to this world by Rasputin during kind of an ill-conceived attempt at bringing about the apocalypse. He's quickly found by Professor Broom, who basically takes him in, and unfortunately the soldiers around him name him Hellboy. The name kind of sticks. The kid quickly grows up, and by 1952 he's off hunting monsters on his own. Well, not on his own, but as part of the BPRD.
What a crew.
He actually got given official human status by the UN after his first mission, which was kind of hilarious. But yeah, since then, character-wise, he's basically spent the last...
Just hand that shit out. There's robots there with citizenship over in Dubai.
Now there is, yes.
Now there is,
a comic.
This is true.
Yeah. But he would basically spend the next 50-odd years with the BPRD, hunting down and fighting the forces of darkness whenever they threatened humanity, and on occasion, kind of making deals. Well, not kind of making deals, but there are times when, like, it's not necessarily forces of darkness so much as something from this...
Shout at the devil.
No. Not so much forces of darkness as just, mythical creatures that are not in the best of form, and peacefully things are often resolved, but to be fair, it usually ends up with, Hellboy ramming that massive fist of his down something's throat, baiting it to
Hello, Cat.
Hello, Cat.
And hello, Martin. And
hello, Martin.
Katie McNeil.
Hello, Tristan McNeil. Haha. Trust me. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. You know better than I do, because I don't know nothing in relation to that.
As I said, it's the humor with which Hellboy approaches these things that really makes him a character that fans have glommed onto. I mean, he, like I said, takes the working stiff approach to things, kind of like, something goes wrong, it's like, crap. He knows he's getting into, he knows what he's getting into. He might not have had a lot of formal education, but like I said, 50 years of being immersed in this stuff, being around people that are experts at this stuff, it's safe to say that by the time the comics really kick off with Seed of Destruction and Wake the Devil, he knows a thing or two. Those would be the ones set kind of contemporary-ish. I think they're set in 95 or something like that. 92, the first one's set in. No, 94.
I can't corroborate anything at the moment.
94, because Professor Broom goes missing in 93 and then he turns back up in 94. And that kicks off the whole thing whereby Hellboy goes looking into his origins, finds out that he is in fact the son of a demon, Azazel. His mother was a witch.
Say it again.
Azazel.
Love it.
Standard bearers for Satan.
I know.
His mother
Still a cool sound name though.
His mother was a witch who renounced the devil on her deathbed, but even still Azazel kind of like grabbed onto her, brought her down to hell, and Hellboy was born in hell when he immolated her body. He quickly chopped off Hellboy's hand and stuck on the right hand of doom, which is prophesied to basically open the doorway for the apocalypse, as Hellboy himself is basically known as the beast of the apocalypse. There's often scenes throughout the comics where he would go up against some big bad, forcing him to really let loose, and at times, either while fighting or after fighting, there would be a vision of him with his horns fully intact because he breaks them off to fit in with humanity. This flaming crown, and he's often leading an army from the depths of hell, sometimes even riding a dragon.
Maybe put a picture on your mic. No. Sorry, Twitter, you're just getting a boring post about the thing.
Over the course of the last 20 years, our time, Mike Mignola has churned out a plethora of stories. In fact, other writers and artists have joined on. We had the Hellboy Weird Tales series was a really great series whereby each issue had maybe 2 or 3 short stories from different writers and artists, fleshing things out. There have been a number of comics done by Mike Mignola himself who did, to be fair, the writing and the artwork for the vast majority of them. They kind of fill in gaps in the scope of the big story, which would be contained in the graphics. All these things are contained in graphics numbered. But as I said, there's so many short stories, so many different tales about Hellboy, that it means that you can go along, you can pick up a Hellboy comic, and it doesn't necessarily have to be part of the big overall story of Hellboy, whereby he sees his origins, he sees what he's supposed to be, he fights against his inner nature, he fights...
Sure, it's nice to know what happened to him in his past, but it's an enjoyable ride no matter where you pick up the story.
Well, actually, a lot of the short stories have poignant lessons on the character, while at the same time, because they're so short, it allows for the comedy elements to bleed through more.
Yeah.
There's a story of Hellboy when he's a kid, and he's like being offered pancakes or something like that, and I think his dad said something about he's not allowed pancakes.
But it's not allowed pancakes?
I can't remember. But the temptation, the temptation is supposed to be the pancakes.
Yeah.
And it's him as a kid, and it's him fighting the temptation. Kind of an interesting allegory for later on in life when he'd be given this massive temptation of being able to lead the armies of hell, all this power at his disposal, and still he decides...
It's a big jump.
It is, but at the same time, it can be seen as, a reflection.
I hand you these thousands of demonic soldiers to invade humanity. This reminds me of this pancake story from when I was about 8.
Hey, worse shit happened when someone got offered an apple.
Yeah, shit. Can't argue there.
Yeah.
Okay.
As I said, a lot of the
didn't like that comic book much.
Not enough pictures.
Not enough pictures.
As I said, the main part of Hellboy himself...
So glad you knew where I was going with that.
The main story arcs basically revolve around his origins, what he's destined to do, and the fact that no matter what is put in front of him, no matter what people tell him, at the end of the day he says, screw you, I'm fighting for humanity.
Screw you guys, I'm going to hell.
He does it in such a belligerent fashion that it's endearing. I mean, he will get knocked through buildings. He wants, I think...
Hello, Niamh O'Connor, while you're taking an air break.
Hello. I think he once got knocked through the top of a castle, down every floor of it, straight through the basement and into the sewers.
Yeah.
That was Hecate, who was like... and he still got up and just kind of... Ah!
It'd be cool if he was like a Pokemon and just said his name, because it's kind of one of those really cool kind of hitty names like, I'm going to defeat you. Hecate, 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 Hecate. Ah, my fucking face.
Funnily enough, if he did do that and said his own name, it probably would work. Hellboy would evolve into Anung Unrama, the Beast of the Apocalypse. and therefore nothing would be able to stop him.
Translation: Hellboy with horns.
Yep, and a flaming crown and wings.
And a flaming crown and the little wings.
No, big wings.
Or does he have the big wings?
There's once it gets going, yeah. Like it's not something that's touched on in the earlier comics, but later visions of Hellboy when he's leading the armies of hell. She is not a happy camper. Actually, she appeared. There was 2 animated movies done. One was kind of a original-ish story comprising a bunch of short tales called Sword of Storms. The other one, Iron something or other. But that was basically the story of Hellboy encountering Hecate.
Yeah.
And it was cool the way it was. It was cool the way they handled it because they had Ron Perlman and Samuel Blair in to do the voices, and the name of the guy that voiced Abe Sapien escapes me right now, but he was in there as well, along with John Hurt to voice Professor Grant.
Interesting question from the audience, Martin Green. We miffed that the last part of the Ron Perlman story arc will never get finished? Partially yes, partially no.
Considering what they would have been doing might have been an amalgamation of the cutesy Hellboy direction they were taking.
Think Hellboy 2 and think what's coming now.
Yeah, because there was an early draft for a script that was called Rise of the Blood Queen, which then evolved into basically what the reboot film is going to be, which is basically
dark as fuck.
It's what I've spent the last day and a half reading up on, to be perfectly honest, because it's...
I read comic 2.
I read 3 graphic novels to get all of it. And that's...
I may have perused around.
I'll get into that later on because I think it'll give us... I'll get into some of it later on.
A little bit? Okay, yeah, a little bit. A little bit. I feel this is going to be like...
I'm not going to say the name because he does come into it and I'm making deliberate
I know. It's why I'm worried because I'm like...
Oh dear God, you have no idea how much I'm trying not to say the name.
That's why I'm worried because I'm like, I feel there's going to be a Lovecraft rant coming. But I also feel that there's going to be an in-depth analysis of the 3 graphic novels you read coming.
To be fair, the Lovecraftian elements are already laid bare in the early.
Is Lovecraftian from the offset?
Yeah, exactly. Which is why the stuff that you're reading now is not so much. Yeah, okay, you're always going to have the Ogdro Jihad.
Doug Jones. I'm assuming. No, what? Martin Green said Doug Jones. I'm assuming.
Oh, Abe the Sapien. Voice of Abe Sapien. Yes, thank you, Martin.
Or he's just randomly screaming out Doug Jones.
He might be. It's Martin.
Okay.
But if he is, there's usually a reason for it.
The guy who played... That was the guy who played him. David Hyde Pierce voiced Abe. Doug Jones in the suit. David voiced Pierce.
There was 2 voices. Yeah, but Doug Jones voiced him in the second film. He only was in the suit in the first one, but in the second one they had him do the voice as well, I think.
Cheaper.
But as anyway, as I said, the Lovecraftian element is laid bare in the outset. There's always tentacly things. There's always stuff rising up from the sea. Yeah. It's never Cthulhu, but it's Cthulhu-esque in the fact that the Ogdru Jihad is tentacly dragon-like things that are always able to influence Earth. Well, actually, they're not at first. They're able to whisper to certain people, but after a failed attempt by Rasputin to break them loose, you learn way down the line that apparently he cracked the prison, and that allowed a little bit more influence to leak out. You know, they can kind of possess individuals now once enough stuff is done, once enough power is amassed.
Okay.
And that's something that's potentially going to be seen coming up. But hopefully.
I like big tentacle monsters. They're always they're a delight.
That's good. The comic itself has recently taken an interesting turn. I've just finished reading the latest, let's call it continuity series for Hellboy. Because there is things that are happening. The BPRD basically got his own comic at one point when Hellboy went his own way.
Lone Star.
But there's things happening in that, and they're mentioning the Hellboy comic. So the state that it's in now, the world is fragged, is the best way of putting it. Hellboy is not exactly around, but he might be coming back. You get the feeling he's coming back to.
Is he doing a John Cena on it?
No, because
I wouldn't have to come back here if you could do your goddamn job.
Huh.
He's never Hellboy.
You can't see me. Of course we can. You got a great big stone.
Or kill me.
Hey, of course we can. You got a great big stone hand covering your face.
Or kill me.
No, you can't do that.
Or hurt me. I know he goes that way, but I feel he just says it.
He, at one point, gets stuck through the chest on multiple occasions, and it's a crap situation, or an ow situation, and he gets back up and makes whoever did it pay.
He's stuck in my head now.
But yeah, as I said, Hellboy is, to be perfectly honest, a really endearing character, considering that he was one of the flagship characters for Dark Horse in the early days in the 90s when they were getting started. Yeah, I know, okay, mid-90s. When they were really coming to their own fruition, and as a result, really helped Dark Horse to gain the popularity that it did, that allowed them to take on other projects, the Alien comics, Predator comics, the Conan series that they did really, really well and really stuck to the Robert E. Howard stories. I almost forgot his name there for a minute. Almost. As I said, it is a character that the animated stuff that they did, those 2 movies, it would have been cool, I think, if they'd done a full-on series. There was a lot of room, thanks to the comics, where they could have done a kid-friendly cartoon about this guy, the world's greatest paranormal investigator. Because the 2 films were kid-friendly. Okay, when I say kid-friendly, I mean like teenager, or 12, let's say 11 or 12 up.
If anything, Batman animated movies have taught me is it's totally okay to go dark as fuck.
Yes, it is, but the reason I say kid-friendly is to build a base. Once you're able to say, here is a cartoon that has made this amount, has this amount of viewers, now we have a fan base, now we can maybe take it up that notch because that fan base has grown up a bit. The way intelligent cartoons...
Would it not be safe to say that they could walk in with like a big stack of comic books and 2 movies and be like, hey, so we've been writing all this shit for the last couple of years. We've built a bit of a fan base. They've all grown up now, and it turns out they like blood and gore.
Yes, but you have to remember the reboot film.
I'm going to put these down now. It's kind of heavy.
The reboot film is the first time that media are approaching the comic book franchise since the Golden Army film came out, because now there is a completely different view on comic book movies from those going to the cinema, from viewers.
Give me blood.
Essentially, yeah. I mean, certain films, Deadpool, Logan, a few others, blew the fragging head off things.
That's literally it. Deadpool and Logan.
Watchmen.
That was
300. Sin City.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'm pretty sure that was out before Watchmen.
300 in Sin City?
Or, sorry, I'm pretty sure... No. Hellboy 2 was out post-Watchmen.
Yeah.
I'll double check, actually.
Look, it doesn't matter. The fact is that the reason we never got a third Hellboy movie to continue on Del Toro's bent was because the studios lost faith in the ability of the Hellboy franchise to make money back, because DVD sales weren't as great as they, or weren't safety net the door, and a few other reasons. Anyway, on that note, oh, okay, fair enough.
Good.
On that note, shall we get into the review of the Hellboy live-action movies?
Yes.
Yes.
Let's.
Now, the first Hellboy movie was 2004.
I'll double check. I want to say 2002, but I am highly sleep deprived, as it was pointed out, and
I think the first one was...
I'm usually good at this. I could be wrong.
I'm fairly certain it was 2004. Guillermo del Toro directed, which had everyone... I was right, yay.
Good.
Guillermo del Toro directed, which had everyone that was into their horror movies excited, because he's always had this fantastic... actually, fantastic is the proper word. He's always been able to meld fantasy and horror brilliantly. Jesus, I'm using the same word too many times. To create...
Today's Gorecast is brought to you by the word fantastic. Oh, we can do that.
No, we don't need to do that.
We'll do that. We'll do it at the end of the show.
Del Toro basically created worlds that drew you in, that basically ignited your imagination and let you wonder exactly how mad some of the stuff that you were going to be seeing could possibly get. All you got to do is take a look at Pan's Labyrinth.
Devil's Backbone.
I haven't seen that one.
You should. It's good.
Okay.
It is all good. I'm a big fan of Del Toro anyway, to be honest.
I've seen a few of these films that I just didn't quite like. And then again, there was Pacific Rim.
Oh, yeah. I've fucking played... Although, if you look at the Kaiju...
Yeah.
Yeah, it's totally... Yeah, it's totally Del Toro.
What
movies didn't you like? Out of curiosity.
I wasn't a big fan of Pan's Labyrinth or Mama.
I didn't like Mama. But he only wrote that. Wasn't it Andrew... Because... Andrea Machete. Did it. Directed that.
I don't know.
Yeah, because you and I a-holed it.
Anyway, Del Toro directed it, and they cast Ron Perlman, who perfectly honest, had the ideal,
or as I like to call him, Caucasian Hellboy.
yeah, and it was great because Perlman really got the character. He understood the kind of the average Joe humor that Hellboy would use. Now, as I said, this film did give us a good idea of what Hellboy could be. The
Big,
story,
red, hilarious, muscly, in charge, cigar smoking.
I meant story-wise, as in the world that it created, the kind of stories, the kind of things that it could be dealt with.
It did paint him out to be a little wimpy bitch teenager, a little bit.
That I didn't like. Yeah, there was. You see, there was
a little bit.
Yeah,
yeah.
For those of you that hadn't seen the film, the Hellboy, the movie starts off basically with us seeing the origins of Hellboy.
Yeah.
Professor Broom, assisted by U.S. Marine Corps, are assaulting a Nazi stronghold, which is basically where
Rasputin's doing devilmanship.
The Thule Society, which were actually a thing as far as I remember, because Hitler was genuinely the occult.
Hitler loves his old
yeah. So they're trying to bring on the apocalypse because Rasputin has promised Hitler a miracle, and they have.
We will beat them on the shores. We will beat them in the beaches. We will beat them in the alternate dimensions.
They don't need to, because it all went horribly wrong when someone chucked in a grenade. Well, it didn't go horribly wrong. First, they summoned.
He lost his eyes and he melted his face.
Yeah. At the same time, this also summoned Hellboy. Professor Broom finds Hellboy. The soldiers with him end up calling him Hellboy. You know, they're trying to shoot him first. It's an ape. It's not an ape. It's a boy. Blah.
Yeah. Apes aren't red, you idiot.
So we see Hellboy.
Are they?
No, not unless they're covered in somebody's blood.
Yeah, there's like a white ape, isn't there? Or is that a movie?
Anyway.
Okay, I can't remember. I just wanted to make sure.
The film,
orangutans are kind of red. That's why I was like, well, they're ginger, like, but yeah. Hot and cold.
The film introduced us to the characters of Abe Sapien, Liz Sherman, Professor Broom, obviously.
Yeah.
FBI liaison. Oh no, his name escapes me right now. Manning. There we go. Oh, my hand. I messed my hand up again recently. FBI liaison Manning, who is kind of like trying to rein in Hellboy, I guess is the best way of putting it. And
market, I believe.
Market him? No, rein him in, because the whole point is that the BPRD is secret. Hellboy does not exist. So you see Manning.
That's what I mean by market him.
You see Manning going out on talk shows going, there is no such thing as Hellboy. The BPRD does not exist.
That's what I mean by market him. You know, he's like Agent K.
That's not marketing. Marketing is putting him out there.
Okay, sorry, anti-marketing. Well, no, your marketing's whatever way you spin it. So
generally, marketing
means
you're putting a product out. His job was to make sure that people didn't know the product existed, which was pretty fracking hard.
Well, every big company has a guy. They have one guy that puts it out, and when shit goes wrong, they have one guy that takes it all back.
But the bit secret. For some reason in the film, this is secret. It's not in the comics. Hellboy walks around. He's been like helping the law in places for literally 50 years. But in this, no, it's all a secret. And like we said, Hellboy's kiddyish mannerisms are just—it's clearly designed to try and draw in the average audience member that probably isn't familiar with the Hellboy character that much.
Yeah.
And as a result, for want of a better term, humanize him, which is weird because they don't need to, because all you got to do is just pay attention to how he acts around people, and he's human. He's more than human enough. That's the whole point.
Yeah. The whole point is he's like a human in a big demon body because he was raised by humans and they taught him our ways.
Yeah, essentially.
And also how to smash shit up.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. We're introduced to Hellboy through basically this new FBI agent who is named, for frack's sake, Myers. There we go. This new FBI agent who's named John Myers, who's been brought in to basically look after Hellboy because, well, Professor Broom's getting old. He's like, 80, 90, something like that.
Probably even older.
Probably.
He's got magics.
He's getting on in years and he worries about his boy. The influences they could be on.
6-7 foot tall, massive red boy.
While this is going on, we also see the resurrection of Rasputin, who we had seen last, basically being what's the best way to put it?
Decorporealized.
No. Deatomized. I knew there was a clever word for it. By the destruction of the portal and basically sucked in. But however, he's trusted and rather somewhat immortal girlfriend, Ilsa, manages to track down the spot where he can be brought back, and sure enough, with the blood of the dead people that led her there,
yeah,
he comes back and sets out on his mission to bring about the apocalypse.
Now he wears sunglasses because he's got crazy eyes.
Because he's got no eyes, he's got voids. Where his eyes used to
got
be.
mashed up.
Yeah, kind of. one of the first things that they do is to break into a museum and release Samael.
It's like I couldn't help myself.
Well, Samael does kind of look very Kraken-like, but once again, that's because it's Lovecraft-based. See, I did a little box containing the Lovecraft. Anyway, Hellboy obviously does what he does best, kicks the crap out of Samael, gets brought into the public light, which is hilarious. The fight in itself is a good fight, and there is the classic Hellboy comedy moments. He gets knocked through stuff, he gets back up, he goes out of his way to save people, goes out of his way to save cats, who, according to this film, he loves inordinately. Not that I have anything against that. Cats are awesome. But they are.
Yeah.
All of this, as I said, is designed to give us an introduction to the Hellboy character that is basically like meeting this big, muscle-bound, stiff-headed teenager that goes out of his way to fight evil and, get out after curfew whenever he can, which drives Manning up the fragging walls.
Yeah, he just leaves.
Because for some God's unknown reason, he's got a thing for Liz Sherman.
Dude, it's Selma Blair.
Yeah.
He's got good taste, like, give him credit where credit's due.
Yeah, and he looks at her as a sister in the comics.
Yeah, I know. Well, look, dude, you watch plenty of fucking shit now where fucking sisters and stepbrothers and thingamajigs, they're not even the same.
a Game of Thrones.
They are not even the same fucking species, dude.
It's, look, I just thought
fine. It's perfectly fine.
I just thought
it's a natural thing.
Yeah.
She's also, from what I can tell, the only fucking woman in the whole fucking bunker, so...
But she's not, because, like...
It's all dudes.
You know what, weirdly enough, in the comics, it's usually when he leaves the bunker that he gets his iron anyway.
I'd imagine so.
There's a fantastic story about this goat-headed...
You said it to me that there's loads of, like, just normal chicks that want to get their reds on.
Keep an eye on Alice in the new film.
Who the fuck's Alice?
You'll find out! Anyway, as I was saying...
There's a smoke.
Shortly after the defeat of Samael, basically you learn that it's all a contrived trap set in place by Rasputin. He lays breadcrumbs around the world once he's, shortly after killing Professor Broom, or having...
Ninja motherfucker.
Yeah,
Nazi ninja.
Cronin, that's his name. Who is a Nazi ninja in this film, but in the other film was not a Nazi ninja.
Samael, is it?
What? No, Cronin. Karl Rupert Cronin.
Oh, yeah, there is.
Yeah. He leaves himself out. He lets himself get caught so that he can whack Professor Broom and then leave him.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah. But in the comics, Cronin wasn't...
Ladislav Baron. What a cool name.
But in the comics, Cronin actually, he wasn't a mute fighting machine, killing machine. He was a talker. He was, by the gods, was he ever a talker.
Like, cool talker or...
Mad scientist, scheming talker. Rasputin's gone, but I'll bring him back and I'll have all your heads for their funeral.
I could see that getting annoying.
So did Hellboy. Boom!
Yeah, pop him in the mouth.
As I said, Hellboy is led on a merry chase around the globe by Rasputin so that he can eventually be in a certain place at a certain time in a certain way so that Rasputin can manipulate events in order to use that great big red fist of his to do what it's meant to do and bring on the apocalypse by saying he's true to him and Angan Rama, accepting his fate and opening the seals to allow the 7 gods of chaos, the Ogdru Jihad, to enter this world and devour it and make it their own.
He also gets a fancy new set of horns. He gets a little flamey crown on his head. No wings.
30 days.
30 days.
And the ability to breathe, probably fire.
Breathe with me.
This is where, of course, Myers, at the exact right point, reminds him to remember who his father is and what his father taught him. And as a result, Hellboy does what Hellboy does best and goes, screw you, buddy. Snaps off the horns, buries one in Rasputin.
Yeah.
Grabs Elizabeth, who
Very
is...
phallic the way you described it. Yeah.
Grabs Elizabeth, who is unconscious. Actually, I think Rasputin stole her soul or something. Yeah, that's it. Rasputin stole her soul, so she's kind of a little bit dead.
Wait, did he steal... Oh, yeah, because that's the way you open the portal, because he has to go through the portal to get the soul to bring the bird back.
Yeah.
Because he gives a fuck.
Unfortunately, in killing Rasputin, it turns out that that was just enough juice for the Ogdru Jihad to you. Basically, they'd been accumulating inside him all this time, which is why he was so long-lived. So this was the final piece. Every time he died, a little bit more of them
It was like a man portal.
Essentially, every time he died, a little bit more of them came back. So this final time allowed a great big portion to get back. So Hellboy, once Myers and Liz are kind of safe, takes the great big grenade belt that they came down with to take out all the Samaels who just keep coming from
slapping
back.
around with Sally.
But it's hilarious. Myers is like, you gotta be okay? Yeah, sure. How big could it be? wrap with a tentacle, strut through, slapped his head off every single stone girder along the way because it's Hellboy. Ow, 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 ow.
Yeah.
Oh, crap. And fighting with a giant tentacle monster.
Yeah, and then he pretty much fired himself into the tentacle monster
With
with
the
a massive
grenade
belt
belt.
of grenades.
Boom.
And then exploded, covered in Samuel juice.
No, covered in dragon juice because Samuel is long gone.
Dragon juice. I apologise. And then
They
he
blew up in
lights up
Samuel's.
his scarf, if I remember correctly.
He
He does, yeah. Himself and what's his face?
Well, no,
He gave him the FBI guy.
No, first he goes along and it's actually okay. I suppose it was kind of cool the fact that we were able to do this because you could see Hellboy doing it. Bringing
Time said hello to Byron, Rob, Tom, Evan,
oh lads
and Pam,
and Davey.
joining us all the way from upstairs.
But yeah, I suppose that thing with Liz did allow for that cool moment where, and I could see him doing it and getting away with it. He whispers to Liz and then she comes back to life and she asks him what he says and says, "Hey, you on the other side, let her go because if you don't, for her I'll cross over and then you'll be sorry." It's kind of like, you know what? Yeah, okay, I'm going to accept that. That's pretty fucking cool.
Do you feel they added that whole love dynamic in just so they could get like that one badass love line that made all the ladies go?
I think it was partially, once again, this stuff.
And some of the men.
They did a lot of stuff to humanize the Hellboy character for
Yeah.
audiences that, while acceptable, weren't necessary as far as I'm concerned. And I don't think we're going to be seeing the same stuff happen in the new film because there won't be a need to, because people are going to be a little bit more willing to accept the darker tone, the notion of this, a more isolated Hellboy, I think. You know? This was clearly designed to show...
The tormented monster Hellboy.
To a degree, yeah,
Yeah.
but not so much tormented monster as that crux between am I man or am I monster, which was the same crux as that first film, but the way it was done, the
Should probably crux into a trailer in a minute, actually.
yeah, just the way it was done, it was all very humanizing, more so for Hellboy than would normally happen in the comics because it's a more natural progression.
Yeah.
I think they just needed to kind of jab it in there and get audience attention. As I said, the first film works very, very, very well, especially if you're not familiar with the comics because you don't have as many expectations. But even if you are familiar with the comics, it's still, for what it was, for when it came out, it was
relatively close to the source material.
yeah, they changed a few bits and pieces. Okay, we're willing to accept that. As I said, it's less.
The love story arc's about the major.
To be honest, for me, it's less about this. It's less about what they changed, and more about the feel of the film.
Yeah.
The feel of it.
I will accept that.
The feel of it gives you a general idea of what it would be like to read a Hellboy comic.
Yeah.
As I said, it's a little bit glossier, but at the same time, it's
There's a lot in the
close enough.
comics.
Well, it's not just that. The tone of the comics is often far, far darker, while at the same time keeping that working Joe humor that Hellboy
But
has.
yeah, that's what I was going to say. See, he's the walking joke the whole way through it.
Not always, but sometimes
Abe gets a couple of good one-liners in.
you'd be surprised how many of the bad guys get in good one-liners at times, or do something that's.
I would be. I haven't read a lot of Hellboy.
they're
I read what you read. Ish.
But
No, sorry, that means I read all of Hellboy. What you read in the last day or two, I read roughly.
okay.
Just so I knew what the F I was talking about.
As I said, the first Hellboy movie is a fantastic introduction to the character for anyone that isn't familiar with it, and a good film to watch for anyone that is a fan of the comics. Because, as I said, you get it's a close enough feel for it as you're going to get until I think we get to see the new film, which is going to be dark as fuck. I hope.
Indeed. Indeed. Okay, we're going to jump into a trailer now, and then we're going to come back with Hellboy 2, which, in a testimony to how well Hellboy 1 put across the Hellboy character as what he should be, because comic book lovers and original movie lovers, all alike in arms, went, "There's a shit!"
What, for the second one?
For the second one.
Well,
What the fuck was that?
I like it as a fantasy film, not as a Hellboy film.
I like it, like, at one stage when
And actually, to be honest,
at one stage when they went into the underworld, I was expecting Mickey Mouse to come wandering around the stairs with a bunch of Delph following behind him.
let's put on the trailer for the first one. We can
Okay.
discuss this in a few minutes.
Okie dokie. Trailer 1.
Yay!
Watch your hands and elbows.
Pardon?
Welcome to the Bureau for Paranormal Research and Defense. There are things that go bump in the night, Agent Myers. And we are the ones who bump back. Hellboy.
Well, come on in. Meet the rest of the family.
Abraham Sapien.
Liz Schumann. It's a beautiful name.
Don't worry, Boy Scout. She'll take care of you. These freaks, they give me the creeps.
Really?
Every time the media gets a look at him, they come running to me. I'm running out of lies.
If there's trouble, all us freaks have is each other.
What the hell is that? Something big.
In the absence of light, darkness prevails. 60 years ago, they tried to destroy the world. They're back.
Master. Oh my God.
Behind this door, ancient evil.
Oh well, let me go in and say hi.
Are you gonna be okay?
How big can it be?
Studio, and we're back. Apologies for us talking loudly. Maybe if we just bring it down a little bit.
I don't know. Apparently we're going all fuzzy when we talk loudly.
Raspy is the word I'm hearing.
Raspy, yeah.
If the mic level is too low, someone feel free to throw us a message and let us know. Hopefully that is the issue resolved. And myself and Giz will just be curtail our excitement about Hellboy a little bit. We'll just
Try.
bring it down to a somber level.
It's okay though, because we're talking about Hellboy 2, which is a little
So
bit...
welcome back to the Gorecast. Yes,
Hello.
Hellboy 2.
Hello.
Much less exciting. Hello, welcome back to the Gorecast. Hellboy 2, a much less exciting movie.
Well, not exactly.
Well, no,
less
the action's
exciting,
great
but-
because that elf guy can wail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in the second and third Death Race movies. Luke
As
Cross.
who? Oh, yes.
Oh.
Yeah. He's very good. Didn't he play Hitman or something as well?
I don't think so.
No, sorry. I said like he played a Hitman.
Oh,
Some Russian Hitman movie. It was very cool.
That would make much more sense.
Yeah. No, I thought he was quite good in it. It was a weird... The Golden Army was always a bit of a weird one for me, where I suppose I'm kind of like you in it, where I really enjoy it until I remember it's a Hellboy movie, and then I'm like...
For those of you that haven't seen it, Hellboy 2 The Golden Army takes the Hellboy character and the Hellboy universe, I guess, and the only way we can put it is kiddifies it a bit. You know, makes it a little bit more family friendly than the first film. Once again, we have the whole
Disney wanks it. That'd be the word I'd go for.
Yeah, I wouldn't go that strong, but yeah. Once again, we have the one of the main cruxes of this story is the relationship between Liz and Hellboy, and as a result of that, Hellboy's impetuousness gets brought to the fore. At that time he gets pished with Abe. It's hilarious.
Drunk Hellboy is fun. You don't
And
see
he
it
tries
much.
to get into a fight and falls down the steps. It's hilarious.
Yeah. I love moments like that where you see a character who ordinarily can't get pissed, get langers, like the Flash TV series recently.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was, oh my god, that was freaking hilarious.
Might have done that a little bit too strong. I'm the Flash! I'm the Flash!
Oh, amazing,
Hilarious.
great stuff.
The second film revolves
Is that
around...
back yet, actually?
Not yet. Oh, this week. Oi! The second film revolves around an impending war whereby the Prince of the Elves has decided he's had enough of these people living in the shadows, and it's about time that the human world trembled before them.
Yeah.
And to do that, he's going to seek the infamous Golden Army, which was once created for the King of the Elves, and basically he
He
used
saw
it.
Lord of the Rings and he was like, this fucking isn't what we're fucking like. It's not what the fucking... we use swords.
Well, in this case, he used an eternal and indestructible army built for him by the greatest of the goblin blacksmiths,
And he had
which could be controlled by a crown. Whoever wore the crown, so long as they were unchallenged, would rule and control the Golden Army, which was indestructible, according to Hellboy. All of this is recanted to a very young Hellboy by Professor Broom in the early, I think it's like 1950 or something like that.
1950.
Yeah. So as a result, that's the epilogue to the film. Basically, we have young Hellboy being told that story by Professor Broom.
Yeah. In a very kind of sweet and daddy-ish kind of way.
Yeah.
Bedtime story.
Yeah, it is a bedtime story. Yeah. Then, of course, we see Prince Nawada.
He was in Blade 2. Luke Cross.
He might have been.
Fuck. Oh my god, he was.
The head vampire thing.
He was the main vampire with the...
Yeah.
Good shout, Martin Green. Well done.
As I said, the story then cuts to Prince Nimue, who is played by Luke Ross. Jesus, I knew you'd do it.
Dude, you're lucky I didn't edit it into the actual TV episode because I tried.
Yeah.
I needed the music with no audio and I couldn't find it. Otherwise, that would have happened.
He's basically on the hunt for the separated pieces of the crown, which, once the Golden Army, once the King of the Elves realised what it could do, he just went, screw that, shattered the crown and gave a piece to the humans and hung on to 2 pieces for himself, which he hid. So the prince Nimue is the fucking Prince Nawada. I'm an idiot. He attacks an auction house where the piece is being sold off. He lets loose the tooth fairies, which devour everyone there. Hellboy and the BPRD are sent in to basically sort out this mess. And
As they're one to do.
Yeah, and in the middle of it all, Hellboy manages to get himself blown out of a window, much to the chagrin of Manning and much to the delight of the media, because they finally can confirm Hellboy exists, despite having several pictures of him, including one that he posed for. Manning is showing him all these pictures. Look at this. He posed for this one.
What was he doing? Yeah, that's it, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just like a...
No, he's 2 fingers piece.
Yeah, that's it.
So yeah, Hellboy and the BPRD are revealed to the world. Manning is ruined. He's ruined. And so they bring in someone to wrangle Hellboy properly in the form of Johann Kraus, who is basically a disembodied spirit trapped in this machine that allows him to exist.
He's a disembodied spirit that got re-embodied in a robot.
It's not a robot. It's a suit. It's like a biohazard suit.
He got re-embodied in a suit.
Yeah. But
he looks like, shit.
Robbie the Robot?
No, Alpha from...
Power Rangers?
Thank you, that's it.
Well,
less colourful.
Because of his dome head. Oh, he's just as colourful.
I like the way, only because of his dome head. Do you mean the thing that makes it look like Alpha?
As Manning says, he's got very expressive hands.
He does have very expressive hands, yes. And he doesn't need those hands sometimes because he's quite whopper outside of
Incorporeal.
Incorporeal.
Yeah. Kraus manages to get a bit of information from one of the tooth fairies that Hellboy manages to capture. Well, actually, it's dead. And
there is a Hellboy comic in the movie universe, yes. Martin Green.
Yeah, there is actually, because in the first film, Myers picks up the comic and Hellboy notes that they never quite got the eyes right.
Yeah. Too squinty.
Yeah, something like that. But, yes, anyway, Kraus interrogates, kind of uses ectoplasm, this little tooth fairy thing, and they find out that they need to go to the troll market. So, lo and behold, Hellboy and his crew, off to the troll market they go, where Hellboy, once again...
Guess where you find the troll market? Under bridges.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Hellboy going against orders, Kraus expresses orders, uses his own tactics in getting information as to the whereabouts of the troll market. Yeah, but Kraus has to actually open the big lock thing, because the little Scottish troll thingy that they scare with the birdie won't do it for him. So never ever. So Hellboy just punts her straight into a wall. You're sure about that? Never ever. Okay, you said never. Boom.
So man for the old one punch right jabs in this movie.
Now, to be fair to Del Toro's vision, it's the troll market that really shows you exactly what he had in mind when it comes to the kind of fantasy worlds that he can create. Because here we are given this literal underworld hive of...
It's like if you took a Hellboy and put him in Labyrinth.
Except it's...
Less musicals. Less musical.
Way less musical.
Magic, dance, magic. Oh shit, that'd be unreal watching Hellboy do that. Sorry. Sidetracked.
Great, now I've got this vision of Hellboy snapping the neck of the Goblin King because...
Do we know any Hellboy cosplayers out there? Because I feel that this is something that has to fucking happen. Dance, magic, dance.
Suppose you could fit me with a right-handed Doom.
What?
Fit me with a right-handed Doom.
Yeah, now we just need to get you a costume.
Yeah, red paint.
I could fit you in the right hand of Doom.
That's a disturbing in and of itself.
Yeah.
Anyway, getting back to the film, Hellboy and his compatriots...
House is voiced by Seth MacFarlane.
Really?
Yeah. Fuck Martin Green. Wow. Less David Bowie, dick. Oh.
Anyway, in the troll market, Abe, who is accompanying Hellboy, runs into the Princess Noala.
Oh, now I got to read bad image, actually.
Of what?
Because he said less David Bowie, dick, and now...
I don't want to know.
Now instead of Hellboy just doing dance magic, I have Hellboy kind of like in the costume.
Can we get back to the film?
Yeah.
Abe finds the Princess Noala. Yes, they both have the same name, I think. And basically,
who doesn't want to kill humanity?
Yeah. And the two of them basically realize that the best thing they can do is help each other out.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, while Abe is doing this, Hellboy is not accidentally, but Hellboy's killing Noada's best buddy, Mr. Trick. Yeah, it was this big metal-fisted ogre guy who was kind of following the princess and attacked Abe, and then Hellboy came along and saved Abe, and then fed Mr. Trick to this big grinding machine. Prince Noada is none too happy about that and unleashes a forest god on Hellboy.
Hellboy's going to be a daddy.
Yeah.
In the new movie?
In Hellboy 2, Liz was pregnant.
Oh yeah.
That was one of the things in their like the whole relationship. But he doesn't know, she does know. He's trying to figure out why she's going nuts on him.
Oh yeah.
Abe knows what's going on and nearly spills the beans when he's drunk.
Yeah.
And then she threatens to incinerate him.
Yes.
Well, she doesn't threaten, but it's implied.
That's coming back. I'll come back to me now. That's perfect.
Yeah, and it's not shortly. It's shortly after that.
That's one of those weird, like Superman level questions. You know how do him and Lois do it without him exploding her head?
Why would he
explode her head?
Yeah.
Lois's head.
I'm going to say Liz's head, and I'm talking about Hellboy.
But he's so like super strong, and she's so like only flammable.
Control. Maybe she gets on top and does all the work. I don't know. Yeah. Funnily enough, Hellboy porn isn't something I've actually seen.
I would have thought that would have been something now that when that kind of whole dynamic in the movie came up, you would have been like, Martha, get my whiteboard. We have some equations to work out. Okay, if he runs at 35 kilometers per hour after that, then it's safe to assume that he's drilling at about 16 kilometers per hour. Her tiny little hips, no matter how flammable they are going to fucking break.
Can we get back to the actual film?
We said we were going to get into the future of Hellboy. There's a baby up in the mix now, so...
There was, but apparently that future's been aborted.
Wells, he's fireproof. I'm not worried about him, Martin. It's poor Selma. Selma's going to get broken.
Anyway,
sorry, yeah.
Hellboy having to deal with a forest god is once again confronted with the fact that his true nature is pretty much the exact same as the thing that he's trying to kill. He is from another world. He's a creature not of the human world. Right. And yet here he is defending humanity. And you have the prince telling him all this. It's stupid. He's telling him all this while Hellboy is standing on top of a sign holding a humongous gun and a fragging baby, which he could have given to anyone at any moment. But anyway, eventually Hellboy does what he does best and kills the forest god, leaving him wondering exactly why he's doing all this when humanity is very, 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 very much ungrateful to him once, he comes down off the sign and hands back the baby. To be fair, he held on to that baby for an awfully long time.
Kick the baby.
Don't kick the baby. This, of course, leads to the somewhat disillusionment of Hellboy and the BPRD insofar as what it's like to be out in the public light. As I said, this and a few other things leads to Hellboy getting pissed drunk with Abe Unfortunately, Nuada is able to track down his sister, who has gone to the BPRD with Abe and the others.
Say hello to Henniger.
Well, Henniger, how you getting on, man? Leading to the somewhat drunken confrontation between, somewhat, Hellboy's pissed. He falls down the steps trying to act the hard man in front of the prince. And he ends up, after a decent enough fight, getting a shard of a elven spear lodged in his chest. They can't get it out. Every time they try to get it out, it moves closer to his chest. So off they go on a merry little voyage to figure out exactly what they can do to fix Hellboy. Because, well, basically Nuada said that if they bring him the last piece of the crown, oh yeah, Nuada by this stage has whacked his outfit and that's 2 pieces of the crown. If they bring him the 3rd piece, which his sister had, he will save Hellboy's life. Yeah. Manning and the BPRD do not want to do this.
Nope.
Liz, Abe, and eventually Krauss say, screw that, we're doing this. Because what they don't know is that Abe figured out exactly where the princess hid the part of the crown, so they're just thinking they'll trick Nuada into doing stuff. They end up getting the piece of the crown removed by making a deal with, as it turns out, the same goblin blacksmith that created the Golden Army in the first place. He gets something nice and shiny, and we have this really cool moment where Hellboy is confronted with what can only be described as an angel of death that brings him back to life, but also prophesies that, this is going to end badly. He's going to cause so much mayhem, and you, Liz Sherman, will be the one that suffers the most. To which she says, you know what?
I don't care.
Deal with that when it happens.
Bernie.
So Hellboy is brought back, and off he goes to face Prince Nuada and the Golden Army. I'll let you watch the film and figure out the rest of it, but suffice to say, it is...
Smashy.
Yeah, it is... Hellboy 2 is a fun film. Yeah. But it doesn't have the spirit of the Hellboy comics the way the first film does. And as a result, a lot of fans kind of felt let down, I suppose. It's an enjoyable film to watch.
I feel the issue with it, bar what we discussed, I feel it's... When you're watching it, it's very enjoyable. And it's a great ride. And it's in retrospect...
As long as you can
issues arise.
As long as you can bite your tongue on a few things that happen during the film, you're like, why? Like that baby thing. Jesus H, tap dancing, Christ.
That was back when you had to have some cute animated baby.
Why didn't he just hand the kid off and we could have gotten a decent fight? It was annoying. But anyway, it's still an enjoyable film overall. And because...
Have you ever seen Shoot 'Em Up?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the same thing, like, why...
Any of it?
Some of it was fantastic.
Yeah.
Some I will, like, as movies go, it does exactly what it says on the fucking tin.
Now, interestingly enough, right, as far as I'm concerned, the popularity of Hellboy, as I said, the Hellboy 2 film, because it was aimed more at general audiences, perhaps than the first one was, it meant that, and because it had
the first one got a kind of a cult following.
To a degree, but also because they'd kidified it a little bit more, it meant that they were able to market stuff to the younger audiences, which meant that they could do the 2 Hellboy animated movies.
Yeah.
Which, interestingly enough, while having all the same cast doing voices,
took way darker
and took the comic book approach to everything. There's no love interest between Hellboy and Liz. No, they're friends, best friends, big brother type deal. Same with Abe. It's all a tight-knit family. You even had an interpretation of, I think it was Wake the Devil, Iron Nails. That's the name of the story. No, okay. Iron Nails was a Conan story. Crap.
Wake the Devil
was the name of an actual Hellboy comic. I'm trying to remember the name of the second animated movie, which had Hellboy going up against Hecate.
Sorry.
Jesus. Which was voiced by either Summer Cree or else... No, I think it was Summer Cree.
Yeah. Blood and Iron.
Blood and Iron. Yay!
Or Sword of Storms.
No, Sword of Storms I knew was...
Or Iron Shoes.
What?
Jesus, there's loads.
Hang on. Damn.
You're well behind, bruv.
Science of Evil.
Science of Evil. That's also a game.
I think that is a game. I think
it might be the game, the video game released. Yeah.
Okay, can you check out the other one so to make sure I'm not a complete idiot and that I didn't miss another animated movie?
Oh, you foobar.
Who, me or you?
I don't know.
Yeah. Sorry, but we're going to be moving on to the future of Hellboy next, and I might as well make sure that I know the past.
Iron Shoes?
Yeah.
Sword of Storms?
No, Iron Shoes.
Yeah. We're all...
Click on it so that I know if it's a cartoon or what.
And Hellboy 2, The Golden Army, Zinco Epilogue.
What? I think that might be a game as well.
animation short adventure.
Okay, clearly there was more done than we thought there was. Or
Right,
I
it was
thought
Mike
there was.
Mignola and Del Toro. Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
Okay, looks like I'm going to have to go look up more Hellboy cartoons when I go home. Oh no, whatever will I do?
Look up more Hellboy cartoons when you go home. You kind of said it already.
I know, I'm going to speed. Do you want to just roll the trailer for...
Roll the trailer for
2?
Hellboy 2? Yeah, no worries at all.
Thank you.
Now for our next item, the Royal Crown of Bethmora, a piece from a long-lost culture.
Lost? Not at all. Very much alive. And I am here to reclaim what is rightfully mine.
Call security!
When our world is threatened,
I have returned to wage war. Reclaim our land.
by forces beyond our understanding, our government turns to an elite, top-secret organization.
We're moving up.
We had over 70 guests reported. We have no survivors.
Same story here, babe.
Don't call me babe.
Hey, I said, hey.
Red, we have company.
I have a suspect.
The Royal Seal.
I'm Princess Nuala. My father died to uphold the truce with your world.
I will call upon the help of all the children of the earth. The good. The bad.
Give it up, Nasty, we can see it.
You see me? How? How do you see me?
And the worst.
The Golden Army, the unstoppable force.
Oh, crap.
Kill them.
Wouldn't do that if I were you. They're afraid of you.
You have more in common with us than with them, demon.
Excuse me. Make the choice. You woke up the baby.
I see it. It's coming to me. A vision of the future. I see him. He's the Red Warrior. And in his hand, no, it is his hand. The red right hand of doom.
What the hell are you doing?
Predicting the future for the seed of destruction, of course.
All right, yeah.
Tune in to American Horrors this Sunday as we predict our hopes and dreams for the upcoming Hellboy film and the franchise in general, really.
I know it says the Bermuda Triangle in the trailer. I was obviously very sleep deprived as well when I was editing that.
I didn't even notice.
So, as everybody knows, we have a TV show over... Well, not everybody. I'm sure some people know. Several people know. At least 10. We have a TV show over on American Horrors, which is on Roku, where you can go download the channel with the promo code AMHOR to add it to your Roku box, where we're going to talk a little bit about the future of the Hellboy franchise, because it's what we said on the name there, above Giz, right there, that one. But we go a lot more in depth into the future, where we did research and there was buttons pushed and pages flipped and things like that in the show. So make sure to go check that out. 8:30 p.m. kind of ish Central Time in the Americas, and 2:30 in the morning a.m.
Where you can find it on AmericanHorrors.com. If you're
over here. Or if you've got a Kodi box, I believe you can get it on Kodi. Because evidently Kodi is European for Roku. Figure that one. That's cool. So the whole point we were doing this episode is because pretty much around this time next year. Holy fuck! It's okay. Nothing. It's okay. I dropped my vape. I got
it. As he was trying to say, pretty much around this time next year, we're going to be more than likely giving you a review of the new Hellboy movie, as it's set to be released on January the 11th, 2019. Now, this film is going to be a departure from the other two Hellboy movies because Del Toro and Ron Perlman will not be involved, mainly because Ron Perlman said he wouldn't be involved if Del Toro
They took Perlman and replaced it with a Brolin. No, they didn't. Not Brolin. Harbour, that's it.
They took a Perlman and they replaced it with a Harbour. David Harbour from Stranger Things, who has gone out of his way to bulk up and really look the part.
If you watch the episode, I managed to track down some of his workout regime, and it's fucking ridiculous. I now officially, since seeing him, refer to him as Omega Harbour because he's like Harbour 2.0.
Now here's the thing. Hellboy and Hellboy 2 actually did make good money. Especially when it came to DVD sales and video sales afterwards.
Hellboy 2 kind of broke even. As far as I know.
Now, the only problem was, with the advent of the digital age, the safety net that DVD and video sales once wasn't as there as much. So as a result, studios didn't have the faith in the third film that Del Toro and Perlman wanted. And they just...
And also, what had also happened was, Del Toro, they were talking about doing the project. Del Toro was busy as fuck. And it had never been taken off the table, but it was one of those, there's no rush, we'll get to it when we get to it kind of thing.
But by the time they got to
it, Deadpool had happened, Logan had happened.
No, by the time they got to it, it was a case of the studio...
They wanted the R-rated superhero.
No, they hadn't gone that far yet.
Okay.
We're still talking 2010, 2011, there was still talk
I was jumping from the start right to the end.
It was still 2010, 2011, there was still talk of potential.
Yeah.
But it was just a case of the studios weren't interested anymore.
And then there was still talk of keeping Perlman on, but Perlman wouldn't do it without...
Well, you see, the thing is, Del Toro had a vision of what he wanted to do with it, and Perlman was on board for that. As I said, they never got the funding that they wanted, and while the script was partially developed to be a potential third one with Mignola involved, entitled Rise of the Blood Queen, it ended up being reworked and redone after a conversation between Mignola, Perlman and Del Toro, whereby Perlman and Del Toro realised this is probably not going to happen. Mignola wants to be going this way. He's the one that's kind of driving force. So as a result...
I'm painting it with gold and red, and he's like, black, red, black, red, black.
Kind of. As a result, a few years later, the script was taken up again, and we now have Neil Marshall helming it, which makes me very excited, and you can find out why when you go watch our American Horrors episode. And it's a script that...
He's done a couple of relatively famous English-based horror movies / apocalypse movie.
Yeah.
And another TV show that some people might know as well.
Yeah. Now, the script itself, as I said, Mike Mignola worked on it, but he was mainly just kind of a guiding force because... And here's what I really want to talk about. The subject matter that they're going to be dealing with is basically... It covers 3 different graphic novels, so there's the potential there for maybe 2 or 3 films, depending on how they handle it. Now, with Mignola steering it, it meant that when it came to the obvious changes that have to be made whenever you're bringing something from the page to the cinema, these changes were done with someone that knows the characters, knows the world, and is able to say, okay, you should change that. Yeah, you can change that. Yeah, you probably should change that. Don't fucking touch this. Don't.
This is where the magic happens.
Stuff like that. So as a result...
In fact, take those pages, lift them straight out of the comic book, put some people in the positions of the comic book,
I very much think that there are certain scenes... there's been reports that it's going to be a very character-driven story, whereby Hellboy would be confronted by the duality of his nature in that what he was bred to do...
Beast versus man.
Essentially, what he was bred to do, what he wants to do. Now, these things are very much covered in...
The Braun Strowman factor.
These things are very much covered in the 3 story arcs that comprise the Rise of the Blood Queen. Nimue. Haha! That's Nimue. Oh, God. With much of it basically... Queen. No.
Rise of the Blood Queen.
God. In the early days of the story... Thank the gods. In the early days of the story, Hellboy is confronted by a number of people who basically want him to be the beast of the apocalypse. They want him to take charge. They want him to lead armies. And every time he's just like, no, leave me the fuck alone, go away. But over the course of these stories, he's also getting more and more information about himself, about his origins, and about exactly who it is that he's descended from.
Yeah.
One of the better lines in it was, it's not just your father's blood that runs in your veins, but your mother's too. One way or another, you will wear a crown. And you actually, when it's said, you think it's referring to this thing over here. And then in The Wild Hunt, you realize, no, it's actually this thing over here. Jesus! Wow. Okay. Wasn't expecting that.
He's got some fine lineage.
Yes, he does. Now, the question is whether or not these things will be used in the upcoming Hellboy film. Certainly some of the stuff will be used, and if they're planning on doing more movies, then I can see how it could be a slow progression, which means we could get a dark as fuck first film.
I'm hoping it's a dark as fuck first film.
With Hellboy, being somewhat disenfranchised with the BPRD, staying in houses that are occupied by ghosts that he is living with.
It also, I know it's a separate franchise, but if they did do the disenfranchised angle where, movie-wise, you could watch them together-ish. Do you know what I mean? Because you kind of...
Except, there's Liz over there, and she's not pregnant, and now she's actually like a little sister for
We'll ignore that. It's fine.
Actually, to be honest...
We'll ignore that.
I don't know if
she could have...
I don't know...
She could have...
okay.
More
hang on. So far, the only people that have been cast for the BPRD have been Hellboy, Professor Broom, and... Oh, crap, I can't remember his name.
And the witch?
No, for the BPRD.
Oh, sorry.
He's an Asian guy, right? Now, the thing is, after an encounter with a supernatural entity, he's given the ability to change into Jaguar whenever he's scared or angry. Kind of like the Hulk, I guess. Now, the thing is, they were going to cast a white guy to play him, and the white guy went, you know what? No, I'm backing away because it's an Asian character. And so, instead, they got in Daniel Day-Kim to play him. So... Yeah, Ben Daimyo. That's the character. So Daniel Day-Kim is going to be playing him. Originally, it was somebody else who was praised for walking away from the role. Because he's in crap tons of stuff. Lost, Hawaii 5-0, any number of films. But those are the only BPRD characters so far that have been cast. We've also had Alice cast. Now, this is where I think we'll have a cool little prequel story set in 1960s Ireland, whereby Hellboy has to deal with a changeling who's abducted a baby. And that will be...
Oh, I'm so worried.
That will be the small little pebble that starts a fucking avalanche that will be the rise of the Blood Queen. By basically...
It's known as the ripple effect.
Yeah, by basically disabusing and in a little bit kind of torturing this fairy dude. He inadvertently sets this guy on a mad rant that ends up becoming more than just him hating Hellboy and him hating all of mankind and wanting the Blood Queen to come along and lead the armies of the underworld and just wipe everything out.
Must fuck shit up, basically.
Oh yeah, horribly. He convinces the witches to bring back Nimue, and then that just goes horribly wrong for them.
I'm not going to do it.
Thank you.
Sorry.
He manages to orchestrate... Well, he doesn't... It's kind of weird, the death of Dagda, the king of the fairy folk.
Yeah.
The king of the elves. It's like one of the lads stabs him and is like, what did I do? And even... He's an Irish guy. The elf guy that's pissed off is actually Irish. Loch Lua? No. He's from Loch Lua. Even I couldn't pronounce his name properly unless I had it written in front of me. Grim Gruach. That might have been it. No. Anyway. Expect all kinds of madness and hopefully a really dark storyline that has Hellboy seriously fucked up by the end of it.
Fighting with himself as much as he fights with anything else.
Yeah! There are a number of times over the course of that story whereby visions of his potential future have turned out to be him literally fighting himself. And once again, it's that future whereby wings and riding on a dragon leading an army of destruction that can crack the walls of hell
That
or heaven.
is a good note to finish up on, I think. Smashing in armies, destruction, hell, wings.
Get ready for the right hand of doom.
Tiki. No.
Hecate.
Thank you. The tiki. Hecate. There you go. Okay, so that's it with the Hellboy episode for tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We're going to be back next week. We're going to be talking about chupacabras.
Yeah.
And probably some other...
Goatsuckers!
Yeah. I'm sure it being me and it being an episode revolving around, unsolved mysteries and other X-Files related shit, it'll probably end up branching out into just mad shit in general with a chupacabra undertone.
Distinct probability.
Yeah, if it was that's how you describe it. As there's a distinct flavour of everything with a slight chupacabra undertone to it.
So
now for you. Okay, so from myself and the Giz, make sure to jump over to American Horrors in an hour or two and check out the end of this episode, I suppose, for lack of a technical term.
Stay tuned here, whereby at some point, I'm sure, in fact, I'm positive, you'll get to see us doing a trailer reaction for the new Hellboy movie, and probably, right about this time next year, us more than likely doing a review of the film itself.
Oh, and if you happen to be a wrestling fan, around this time next week, join myself and Giz over on our other channel, Kayfabe or Die, where we're going to be watching Royal Rumble, baby! It's going to be awesome. And Ladies Royal Rumble, which I'm very much looking forward to.
Yes, it's going to be brilliant.
I'm mad to see Great Kong come back.
Awesome Kong.
Awesome Kong. I would love to see her come back. Because, well, think about it. I know, to give you a little taste of what we kind of delve into in the wrestling thing, I do think it'd be notable to bring her back due to her addition to the whole Glow TV series.
Okay, fair enough. We're not getting into this now because we won't stop.
Oh, I know. It was just a little taster. I know she left on bad terms.
Can we say just...
Gorecast out?
Gorecast out.
Gorecast out. I can't do the... That was slightly less well-timed than usual.
No. I see it. It's coming to me. A vision of the future. I see him. He's the Red Warrior. And in his hand, no, it is his hand. The red right hand of doom.
What the hell are you doing?
Predicting the future for the seed of destruction, of course.
All right, yeah.
Tune in to American Horrors this Sunday as we predict our hopes and dreams for the upcoming Hellboy film, and the franchise in general, really. I see it. It's coming to me. A vision of the future. I see him. He's the Red Warrior. And in his hand, no, it is his hand. The red right hand of doom.
What the hell are you doing?
Predicting the future for the seed of destruction, of course.
All right, yeah.
Tune in to American Horrors this Sunday as we predict our hopes and dreams for the upcoming Hellboy film, and the franchise in general, really.